Yes, students, we are going to discuss with you the magnetic effect of current. This is the next chapter, fourth chapter of your NCRTs. First of all, of course, you should be knowing about the electromagnetism. We have to discuss, we have to go in detail when we are going to relate the electric and magnetic fields with you. So whenever we are having the charges in motion, then magnetic field is produced. So this was earlier observed in 1802 by a scientist, but that was not did not took much attention. So in 1820 it was when Oersted noticed that current carrying straight wire, it has caused the deflection in the magnetic compass needle. As you all have seen the magnetic compass needle, and you all know that it will only get deflected whenever there is some magnetic field. So by that observation only he took out this conclusion that it means if I am having a current carrying wire with me, then magnetic field is produced. Though till now you have seen that if I have a bar magnet with me, I can show the deflection in the magnetic field. Of course, magnetic field can be produced, and the magnetic in the earth also magnetic field is there, and that is why you are getting attracted towards the earth. That of course we will be going in detail in the next chapter of magnetism, bar magnets, solenoids, all these things we will be studying in the coming chapter. But in this chapter we have to focus about the current carrying wire. If it is there, or current carrying loop of wire is there, then it is creating the magnetic field. So that is termed as the magnetic effect of current. It means I'm making the electric charge to flow. It means we are talking about the charges in motion. And when I have the electric current is flowing, then magnetic effect is produced, and that magnetic effect I may call it as the magnetic field, or magnetic field strength, or magnetic field intensity. So whenever these terms are coming around you, magnetic field intensity, magnetic field strength, magnetic field, the meaning is same. So you should not get confused with these terms. Yes, if you want to define the magnetic field, it is simply like the electric field. We have said that it is an influence around the current carrying conductor. And due to that, there is some movement in the magnetic needle or some magnetized materials around it. So it is creating the influence, and that can be observed. And of course, this we are going to discuss in detail about the magnetic field, and you will come to know that it is also a vector field like your electric field. So we have to go in detail. So to begin with, first experiment which is there in your syllabus, that is Oersted experiment. So what he did, as I have told you just now, that when I take a current carrying conductor, then I make the current to pass, and if I put a magnetic compass near to it, then what happened? This magnetic compass, it showed the deflection. So it means it shows the deflection only when there is some magnetic field. That is simply to prove that magnetic field is produced when the key is closed. I am completing the circuit by making the electric current to pass with the help of battery. This is a simple circuit with you in which a source is there, a rheostat is there, a key is there. So if I make the current more, deflection will be more. That also can be observed experimentally. And same way, if this is reversed, if the polarities of the batteries are reversed, then the deflection in the needle was seen in the opposite direction as in the earlier case. So it means what it is, that when I change the polarity of I change the direction of the current by changing the polarity of the battery, then the deflection direction is also getting changed. So this direction, how to study? For that, Ampere has given you the rule that is known as Snow rule. So that is a rule which is of course based on the Oersted experiment. So Oersted observed the things, and Ampere just put them into words to make the things easy for you. That is termed as Snow rule. What Snow rule says, as from the name itself it is there, that when the current you are making to pass from south to north direction, then and a wire is kept over the needle. It means I am having a magnetic compass needle with me. I keep the wire over the needle, same circuit with a battery, and key is there. A rheostat I can put if I want to check the strength of the current. changing strength of the current, what is happening? Then if we are making this wire is kept over the magnetic needle, then what happens? That the north pole of this magnetic compass needle goes towards west. So current is passing from south to north. Wire is kept over the needle, then the deflection is seen towards west. So this is, of course, if I change the polarities, then in place of going towards west, this is going towards east. So it means direction is getting changed. North, south, east, and then west. So this is simply a rule which is given by Ampere and is just termed as snow rule. Snow rule, it is if you are imagining a man to swim like this, that the current is passing from south to north, then current is entering his feet, then what happens, that the north pole of the needle will deflect towards its left hand. Left hand means towards west. And of course, if you change the direction, then it will go towards the other direction. Other direction means east direction, which is opposite to the west. So, and of course, if you change the magnitude of the current, then the deflection will also be less or more depending upon the strength of the current, whether you are increasing or you are decreasing. So this is snow rule, which is based on the Oersted experiment. Moving to the very important law with you, that is Biot-Savart's law. Biot-Savart is of course the name of the scientist, and the law is given by him only. What he said, that if I have a straight wire conductor or simply a wire conductor with me, it can be a straight or it can be simply like this, which can be bent because it is very thin wire we are taking. And if I make the current to pass through this wire, then it was observed that if I take the small part of this wire, that is current element we are taking. So current element here is a vector quantity, and the point where I want to find the magnetic field is P point, which is at a distance small r from this current element. And if it is making an angle theta with the direction of this r vector and dl vector, if the angle is theta, if we suppose, then it was observed that the magnetic field, as I said, if I increase the current, then the deflection increased. It means it is directly proportional to the current, and it is directly proportional to the length of the conducting wire dl. It is directly proportional to the angle between the IDL and R vector, and it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two. It means the current carrying conductor and the point where I am willing to find the magnetic field. So this is the magnitude. If I talk about the magnitude of the magnetic field, small magnetic field dV, that is coming out to be directly proportional to I dl sine theta divided by r square. And if I want to find the direction, of course I am going to write it in the vector form, and that is that if I have to see the direction, then of course the right hand rule, as we have discussed in the 11th class also, that if I take the current is moving in the upward direction, I have to bend it towards the r. So if I'm taking it this way, then the thumb is pointing inward, so that is showing the direction of the magnetic field, which is perpendicular to the plane and directed into the paper. So this cross sign is used for the direction which is inward direction. And of course, if you want to write it in the vector form, then you have to write it this dv vector, it is equals to this. If I remove the proportionality sign, I am getting a constant, that is mu naught upon 4 pi I dl cross r vector, r unit vector divided by r square. But if I want to write in terms of r vector, then you know that unit vector is given by the vector divided by its magnitude. So I will be getting I dl cross r vector divided by r. You should be noting it down that mu naught is permeability. mu naught is permeability, and the value of this permeability is found to be 4 pi × 10⁻⁷ Tesla. Tesla is the unit for the magnetic field, meter per ampere, or we can talk about in Weber per meter per ampere. We are going to discuss about the Tesla and Weber in the coming lectures, or Tesla today itself I will discuss. And direction of dV is given by the right hand rule. Right hand rule means yours perpendicular to the direction of dl and r. IDL is taken as the current element, which is a vector quantity. And you can see that it is emerging. If I take a point here, P dash, then if you find the direction, this is the current element, you are turning it towards P dash, then it is coming upward. If I am having the current direction like this, I am turning it towards P point, it is coming inward. So the direction of this will be inward or outward depending upon your direction, where position where you are taking that point. So that point you have to see it carefully where the point is, and then you can find the direction. Of course, as we have discussed, if I open this cross product, I will be getting IDL sine theta, which I have already written with you the formula, and of course you know A cross B is equals to AB sine theta. And so if theta is 0, then of course you will be getting magnetic field equals to 0. And if you are taking theta equals to 90 degree, then sine 90 is 1. So you will be getting the magnetic field is equals to maximum value. It means you should be knowing that magnetic field is maximum in a plane passing through the element and perpendicular to its axis. So this should be known to you. Of course, this is simply to revise your Maxwell-Cork rule, which is of course the right hand screw rule. If the direction is moving this way, then upward, then you know how you are moving the screw. You are moving the screw this way, it means in the clockwise direction. And if you are moving this way, then current is in the downward direction. Of course, it is coming out to be in the clockwise direction. So the direction of the rotation of the screw gives you the direction of the magnetic lines of force around the conductor. Or you can find it by the right hand thumb rule, as I have explained to you earlier, that if current is moving upward, then if you want to find the direction of the magnetic field, it will be coming. If the current is passing upward, it means magnetic field will be given by this direction in which my fingers they rotate. It means in the anti-clockwise direction. If the current is passing in the downward direction, then if I rotate my fingers, it is coming in the clockwise direction. You can see that. So the direction of rotation of the fingers will give you the direction of the magnetic lines of force. This is by the right hand thumb rule or Maxwell-Cork rule. The direction you will be getting the same by both the rules. To define 1 Tesla, then you can take the help of this formula, which is from the Biot-Savart's law, which says that dV is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi into IDL sine theta upon r square. So if I is 1 ampere, DL length is 1 meter, R is again 1 meter, means then you can take, and theta of course is 90 degree, then you are getting the maximum value of the magnetic field, which is coming out to be mu naught upon 4 pi, and mu naught is 4 pi into 10⁻⁷. So divided by 4 pi, it means I am getting magnetic field equals to 10⁻⁷ Tesla. It means 1 Tesla, if I want to define, that is equals to 10⁻⁷ times the magnetic field produced by this arrangement of the conducting wire of length 1 meter and carrying a current of 1 ampere at a distance of 1 meter and of course perpendicular to it. So you have to note all these things are very important for you. If you want to define 1 Tesla, you can define it by using Biot-Savart's law. And as I have said, because previous lectures, first 2 chapters are very important. Like we have discussed the electric field using Coulomb's law. You can compare this magnetic field with the formula of the electric field when we did it by Coulomb's law. then of course you will be able to get electric field equals to k q upon r square. So you can see that their k was, the value of k is also known to you, what that was equals to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. So if you want to get a relation between the permeability, permittivity and the speed of light, that is going to help you when we will discuss about the electromagnetic fields. Means we are talking about the electric and magnetic fields like EM waves we will talk about. Then this relation will be asked from you. You should be knowing this because we have discussed in the previous chapter 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 to 9 Newton meter square per coulomb. And this we have just observed that mu naught upon 4 pi is 10 to minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere. This divided by this, if you do, then only you will be getting mu naught epsilon naught, it is equals to 10 to minus 7 into this. So you are getting it equals to 1 upon c square. So this is the relation, c it is equals to 1 upon square root of mu naught epsilon naught. This is the relation between the mu naught epsilon naught and c. Of course, mu naught is permeability in free space or in vacuum. Of course, we will discuss what will happen if I go in medium, then we will talk about the relative permeability like we have discussed relative permittivity in the previous lectures. So all the things are related. Now this is the points of comparison between the Biot-Savart law and Coulomb's law. Of course, Biot-Savart law is giving you the magnetic field. Coulomb law, with the help of Coulomb law, we were able to find the electric field. And both are inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the field source and the point. Whatever point we are taking in the question, that point, we have to see the distance. Electric field due to Coulomb's law, this formula is already known to you, 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r square. And for Biot-Savart law, it is mu naught upon 4 pi into I dl sine theta upon r square. Both are vectors, so both are going to follow the principle of superposition. And of course, both are linear in nature. Your electrostatic charge, or we talk about the current element, because current element is taken as a small length over the wire. Now, if you want to go with the points of differences, then the source of electric field is scalar in nature, charge is scalar, but the source of magnetic field, current element, is vector. Electric field is acting along the plane containing the distance and the point charge, but the magnetic field is perpendicular to it, as you people have observed. Magnetic field is depending upon the angle theta, but electric field is not dependent upon angle theta. So this is a very simple thing. You should be able to compare, and when you compare, you can keep the things in your mind for a longer time, and then you will not face any problem in applying these laws and whenever it comes to you in the questions. This is by you. You can write it as an application of Biot-Savart law. This is, we want to find the magnetic field due to a straight wire carrying current using Biot-Savart's law. So using Biot-Savart's law, this formula is there with me for the small current element, that is dB. It is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sine theta upon r square. If I am simply talking about the magnitude of the magnetic field. Of course, we can go with the direction by using the right hand rule whenever required. So right hand rule is very important, that we will apply at the end after finding the magnitude. For a straight wire we are taking, this is a straight wire, infinitely long it can be. But at this minute we are supposing a point here at a small element dl, which is at distance L. From this point, which is nearly center, we are taking of the wire, we are drawing a perpendicular from the point P where I want to find the magnetic field, and this distance is small a, while the distance of the point P from the current element is r, that also you can see, and theta, as usual, we have taken as the angle between the current element IDL and r, direction of r. Now, if we suppose this angle here as phi, Then in this right angle triangle, you can see, if you want to name this triangle, you can name it PMN. Then this triangle, this angle theta plus phi will be equals to 90 degree. So of course you can say that phi it is equals to theta minus 90. So that if you wish, you may write even. I'm writing it as M point. I'm writing it as N point. Then theta plus phi in this triangle will be equals to theta plus phi, that is equals to 90 degree. That you can see from the diagram even. And sine theta, you can see, you can find equals to cos 90 minus phi. Sine theta, you should write sine theta, that is equals to cos 90 minus phi, and then you can work out with the things whatever you want to write. Like here, if you want to write sine theta, that is equals to sine 90 minus phi, which can be written as cos phi, and from this right angle triangle you can see the value is a upon r. So you can write r, it is equals to a upon cos phi. If you want to write tan phi is this L upon a, perpendicular upon base. So you can write L equals to a tan phi. And if you differentiate, you are getting dl equals to a secant square phi d phi. And if you put all these values in this expression for dl value is a secant square phi d phi, and you need to work it out. And you put the value of r equals to a secant phi, and you put the value of sine theta, which is equals to cos phi. So if you put all these values, then I'm left with this expression dB, it is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi I cos phi d phi upon a. So you need to work out by putting the values yourself. And when I'm taking this infinite conductor, then the limits mine are changing from minus phi 1 to plus phi 2. So if you put the values, then integral of, if you are integrating to find the total magnetic field due to this wire, then the limits are from phi 1 to phi 2. And you get your mu naught I cos phi, integration of cos phi is sin phi, and upper limit minus lower limit, you are getting mu naught I upon 4 pi a into sin phi 1 plus sin phi 2. So this is the final formula with you for a straight wire conductor. Moving ahead, if you are taking that angle, this phi 1 and phi 2 for the infinitely long wire is 90 degree, then you put the values for sine 90, then we are getting it equals to mu naught I upon 2 pi a. So for that also you need to work it out. And if you do the graph plotting between B and A, then this is the shape of the graph because inverse relation is there. And if you want to find the direction of B, it is same as the direction of dl cross r, as we have already discussed. So it is perpendicular to the plane containing di and r. So that you should be able to find the direction, which is again of course very important. Keeping things up to this. Thank you.